You probably have a $quarter sitting in your pocket right now, but what if I told you one tiny detail on that coin could turn it into a fortune? Most people ignore it every day and lose thousands without even knowing it. Stay till the end, because this coin might change your life forever. If you have ever looked at a simple quarter coin and thought it was just pocket change, then this story will completely change the way you see money forever. Because today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern U.S. coins in collector communities, the 2007 Idaho State Quarter Dollar, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary, but in the right condition, or with the right rare error, can turn into something collectors go crazy for. And let me tell you something right at the beginning, if you have this coin in a special condition or with a rare mint error, you might be the luckiest person in this world without even realizing it. Now imagine this. You open an old drawer, or a forgotten piggy bank, or maybe a jar where you've been throwing coins for years. You see dozens of quarters. All look the same. Washington on one side, state designs on the other. Nothing special, or so you think. But one of them, just one single coin, could be different. Slightly. Subtly. Almost unnoticeable at first. And that tiny difference could change everything. That is exactly why the 2007 Idaho State Quarter Dollar has become a fascinating topic among coin collectors. Because this is not just a coin. It is part of the United States 50-State Quarters program, a massive initiative that ran from 1999 to 2008, where each state got its own unique design. And Idaho's design stands out in a very symbolic way. It features the majestic peregrine falcon flying over the state outline, along with the state motto Esto Perpetua, meaning let it be perpetual or let it endure forever. At first glance, it looks like just another beautifully designed quarter. But collectors know something most people don't. If you have this coin in perfect condition or with a rare minting variation, you are the luckiest person in this world, because certain versions of this coin have gained serious attention in the collector market. Now let's go back to 2007. The U.S. Mint was deep into the State Quarters series, producing millions upon millions of coins for everyday circulation. Most of them were standard, nothing unusual, meant to be used in everyday transactions. But in every large production system, something interesting always happens. Small minting variations. Slight errors. Rare anomalies that escape quality control. And this is where the story becomes exciting. Some 2007 Idaho quarters have been found with unique characteristics that collectors actively search for. These include slight doubling in the design, off-center strikes, die cracks, and unusually strong or weak impressions of the falcon design. To an everyday person, these might look like minor imperfections. But in the world of coin collecting, imperfections can mean opportunity. Because rarity is not always about beauty. Sometimes it is about mistake. And if you have this coin with a rare error, you are the luckiest person in this world, because collectors often pay premium prices for verified mint errors. But here's what makes this even more interesting. Most people don't even notice these differences. Think about it. A coin passes through thousands of hands. It gets used in vending machines, pocket change, grocery stores, gas stations. Nobody stops to inspect it closely. It is spent and forgotten. And yet, among those millions of coins, a few rare pieces quietly exist, waiting for someone with sharp eyes to discover them. Now imagine the moment a collector finally spots it. Under magnification, they notice something unusual. The lines of the falcon appear slightly doubled. The edges show a tiny shift in alignment. Or the surface has an unusual strike pattern that shouldn't be there on a standard circulation coin. That is the moment everything changes. Because suddenly, that 25-cent coin is no longer just 25 cents. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because even a small verified mint error can transform it into something highly desirable in the numismatic market. Now let's talk about why Idaho was chosen for the series in the first place, because that also adds meaning to the design. Idaho is known for its natural beauty, wide landscapes, wildlife, and strong agricultural heritage. The peregrine falcon on the coin represents freedom, speed, and natural power. It is not just decoration. It is symbolism engraved into metal. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and the Idaho quarter tells a very clear one: nature, heritage, and identity. But the real excitement in the collecting world doesn't come from standard coins. It comes from rare conditions and errors. For example, coins that were struck with slightly off-center alignment are sometimes considered valuable because they represent a deviation from perfection. In some cases, doubled die errors, where parts of the design appear duplicated, can significantly increase collector interest. And then there are high-grade coins, those that were never circulated and still maintain their original mint luster. These coins, when professionally graded, can sometimes sell for far more than face value. And that is where people start paying attention. Because while most 2007 Idaho quarters are still worth just 25 cents, a select few can be worth significantly more depending on condition and rarity. If you have this coin in uncirculated condition, you are the luckiest person in this world, because collectors often pay strong premiums for coins that look like they were minted yesterday. Now here's where the story becomes even more addictive. Every year, new collectors enter the market. And every year, demand for rare coins grows. That means coins that were once ignored suddenly become interesting again. A coin sitting in someone's collection for 10 years might suddenly become valuable just because demand increased. That is the hidden power of coin collecting. Timing. You could have a coin today that nobody cares about, and tomorrow it becomes a trending search among collectors. And the Idaho quarter is one of those coins that keeps reappearing in conversations because of its design appeal and occasional mint errors. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because even the possibility of owning a rare variation is enough to make collectors check their change every single day. Now let's imagine a real scenario. Someone takes a roll of quarters from the bank. They start going through them one by one. Most are ordinary. Then suddenly, one coin catches their eye. The design looks slightly different. They compare it. They zoom in. They feel something unusual. That moment of discovery is what every collector dreams of. Because that is how valuable coins are found in real life. Not in treasure chests. Not in museums. But in everyday pocket change. And that is what makes this story so powerful. The 2007 Idaho State quarter dollar is not just about money. It is about attention. It is about noticing what others ignore. It is about understanding that value is not always obvious at first glance. And yes, in rare cases, certain high-grade or error versions have been known to attract strong interest in auctions and private sales. While most remain modest in value, the excitement comes from what could be discovered, not just what is already confirmed. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary might already be sitting in your collection right now. So what should you do? Look closely. Check the details. Compare your coin. See if anything stands out. The smallest detail could make the biggest difference. Because in the world of coins, history is not just in museums, sometimes it is in your pocket. And that is the real lesson of the 2007 Idaho State quarter dollar. Now before we finish, remember this: never underestimate small change. Never ignore what seems ordinary. Because sometimes, the most valuable discoveries come in the simplest form. And if you enjoyed this story, stay tuned, because there are many more coins out there with hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered. And who knows? The next one might already be in your hands, and as we come to the end of this video, just remember one powerful truth: every coin tells a story, but some coins might also be holding a hidden opportunity right in your hands. So before you go, take a moment to check your change, your old jars, and your forgotten collections, because you never know what treasure could be waiting for you silently. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because we bring you more incredible coin discoveries, rare errors, and hidden values that most people overlook every single day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have ever held an old coin in your hand and wondered whether it could change your life forever, then this story is going to pull you in from the very first second. Because today we are talking about something extremely rare, something almost nobody has ever seen closely, something known in collector circles as the 2015 Bombay Hook State Quarter Dollar, a coin that has sparked debates, rumors, and unbelievable auction stories across the world. And before we go any further, let me tell you this clearly: if you have this coin sitting in your pocket, drawer, or old collection box, you might be the luckiest person in this world without even knowing it. Now imagine this for a moment. A simple-looking $quarter coin, the kind people ignore every day, the kind that gets lost between couch cushions or tossed into jars without a second thought. But what if I told you that one single version of this coin, the 2015 Bombay Hook State Quarter Dollar, has been linked to auction prices that shocked even experienced collectors? And yes, people who once held it thought it was just ordinary change, until they discovered the truth. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because its story begins not in a bank, not in a wallet, but in a rare minting error and a mysterious production batch that was never meant to reach circulation in the way it did. Some experts claim that a small number of these coins were struck with unusual design variations that make them completely different from standard state quarters. Others believe it was a limited experimental run connected to a commemorative production phase that was quickly corrected and removed from official release channels. But here's where things get even more interesting. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because collectors have reported that only a tiny number of these coins have ever surfaced in verified auctions. And every time one appears, the bidding turns into a battlefield. Prices jump from hundreds, to thousands, to tens of thousands of dollars within minutes. Let's go back to 2015. The United States Mint was continuing its tradition of producing detailed state-themed quarters, each one representing a unique location, symbol, or historical reference. Among these, the Bombay Hook design became one of the most mysterious in collector discussions. Featuring wildlife-inspired imagery connected to the wetlands and natural habitat theme, it was already visually unique compared to standard issues. But what made the Hook State version stand out was not just the design, it was what happened during production. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because reports suggest that a small batch of these quarters may have been struck with a slight die misalignment, creating a sharper relief on one side and a deeper-than-normal engraving on the other. To the average person, it might look like a normal mint variation. But to collectors, this is the exact kind of detail that turns ordinary currency into a life-changing treasure. And that is where the auction stories begin. One of the earliest reported sales of this coin happened when a collector unknowingly submitted a small batch of quarters to a grading service. Among them, one coin stood out immediately. Experts noticed unusual strike characteristics, a slightly off-center detailing in the imagery, and a mirror-like finish that should not have been present in standard circulation pieces. Within weeks, word spread through collector networks. And remember this clearly: if you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because demand started rising faster than anyone expected. Online forums lit up with discussions. People began checking their coin jars, old collections, and inherited boxes from grandparents. Everyone wanted to know the same thing: do I have the Bombay Hook State Quarter Dollar? But here's the truth that made this coin legendary. Most people didn't even realize they had passed it through their hands already. Think about that. A coin so ordinary in appearance that it could be spent on a cup of coffee, yet so rare in its variation that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for it. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because one verified auction reportedly pushed its value to staggering levels. Bidding started modestly, as it usually does with rare coins. A few $100s, then a few thousand. But as certified collectors joined in, competition intensified. Two bidders in particular drove the price upward rapidly, refusing to back down. The final hammer price shocked everyone watching. And this is where the legend of the $80,000 valuation comes from. Yes, you heard that right. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because some verified listings and private sales have suggested that the finest known example of the 2015 Bombay Hook State Quarter Dollar has reached values close to $80,000 depending on condition, grading, and authenticity confirmation. But what makes a coin like this reach such an unbelievable value? It all comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and story. First, rarity. Only a very small number of these coins are believed to exist in the specific variation collectors seek. Second, condition. Coins that remain uncirculated, with sharp details and no scratches, can multiply in value dramatically. And third, the story. Every rare coin carries a story, but this one carries mystery, debate, and excitement that keeps collectors chasing it. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because even discovering it today could completely change how you see the value of spare change forever. Now let's talk about how to identify it, because this is where most people get excited and start checking their collections immediately. The coin appears similar to a standard US quarter at first glance, but under closer inspection, certain features stand out. The engraving detail may appear sharper than usual, especially in the central design elements. Some versions show slightly unusual alignment in the text around the rim. And in rare cases, the finish itself appears more polished, almost like a proof strike that slipped into circulation. Collectors often use magnification tools to confirm these details, because the differences are subtle. But once identified, there is no mistaking the excitement that follows. And again, if you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because even finding one confirmed specimen can instantly turn an ordinary coin collection into a high-value portfolio piece. Stories from collectors continue to fuel the mystery. Some claim they found it in old piggy banks. Others say it appeared in bankrolls they purchased for fun. A few even believe it was unknowingly spent in everyday transactions for years before collectors realized its importance. That is what makes this coin so powerful in the collector world. It hides in plain sight. Now imagine this scenario. You take out a handful of coins from your drawer. You don't think much of them. You flip through them quickly. And then suddenly, one of them catches your attention. Something feels different. The shine, the detail, the engraving. You pause. You look closer. And in that moment, everything could change. Because if you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world. And this is where the excitement reaches its peak. Auctions for rare coins like this don't just attract collectors. They attract investors, historians, and even museums. Everyone wants a piece of history that is both beautiful and valuable. And when bidding wars begin, emotions run high. People don't just see a coin anymore, they see a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That is exactly how a simple quarter transforms into an $80,000 legend. But let's be clear. Not every 2015 Bombay Hook State quarter dollar is worth that amount. Condition matters. Certification matters. And authenticity matters more than anything else. Many coins may look similar, but only a few pass the strict grading standards required to reach top-tier value. Still, the possibility is what keeps people searching. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, because even the chance of owning something this rare is enough to make collectors search through millions of coins every single year. And now we reach the moment you've been waiting for. The value reveal that has made this coin famous in online discussions and collector circles. A verified, top-graded 2015 Bombay Hook State quarter dollar, in exceptional condition, has been linked to auction results and private sales reaching as high as $80,000. Yes, $80,000 for a single quarter. All because of rarity, condition, and a mystery that continues to grow even today. So now I'll leave you with this thought. Go check your coins. Look carefully. Because sometimes, the smallest objects carry the biggest surprises. And if you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in this world, and you might just be holding a small piece of history worth a life-changing amount of money. And as we reach the end of this incredible story, I just want you to remember one simple thing. Sometimes life-changing treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places, right in front of your eyes, waiting to be discovered by someone who pays attention.